is. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punches? I was hitting him with body punches and I heard him, actually he was crying in there. You're saying that Biggs was crying when you hit him? Yes. When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on.
BoxingVoice.com.
So you knew you had him by that time? Absolutely, I knew he was touching and taking those punches.
Deontay Production.
Making women gestures like,
Let's go, champ.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning, TBV. We are back with yet another one, and let me tell you, it's going to get exciting. I'm pretty sure we're going to have people yelling at each other on this particular topic with this particular news. Eddie Hearn has come out and said that Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua might not take place until 2021. Now, I know off bat, you might be thinking it's Eddie swerving, but he's giving you reasons why he believes the fight won't happen till then due to Deontay Wilder's upcoming schedule. And we'll give you all the fights that Eddie Hearn believes will possibly roadblock Wilder versus AJ until at least 2021. So this is what we're going to be talking about. If you're interested, you know the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. You can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation. Let's get this thing started. So I'm going to head on out to my co-host, Helen from around the world.
Deontay Production.
Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
BoxingVoice.com.
So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. He stayed out like 37 last time.
A man stand up for what he believes in, and when you stand up for what you believe in, you accept whatever consequences come behind it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Yo, what's up, everybody out there in the TBB universe? Back with another one. Eddie Hearn makes headlines again. Says Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua might not happen to 2021. Damn. And he broke down some ways that he think this fight might get held up. The Ortiz fight, a possibly Koronaki fight, a mandatory challenge from Dillian Whyte, a trilogy with, well, not trilogy, but a rematch with Tyson Fury. It's all kind of things and variables out there that could potentially hold this fight up. But we'll break it down and get into it. Akan, what's going on, man? Good to see you, brother.
BoxingVoice.com.
There's never any doubt in my mind because I'm the best in the world.
It was a part of me that wanted to go more rounds. I'm a fighter.
Deontay Production.
I don't know who he was, man. He's talking it. So I said, let me jump in the stage and fill in the space.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Good to be back. Yeah, Eddie Hearn has come with, he's essentially said, well, if Wilder wins 2020, he should basically be looking at 2021 because this fight might not happen until 2021. And with the mandatories in place, we have to remember that this fight that AJ is fighting now in June is actually a voluntary. So he's going to have mandatories. You can't hold on to 4 belts and not actually fight your mandatories. Otherwise, you will be stripped. So, yeah, let's get into it, guys.
Stripped a la Tyson Fury. Tyson didn't get to defend his belts at all. As soon as the IBF called the mandatory, he decided the person that they called as his mandatory wasn't fit and worthy enough, so he vacated. At least we need to respect AJ. We complain that he's fighting these mandatories, but we would also complain had he been vacating titles, picking and choosing. He's actually fighting everyone, and I do believe that that's going to be a huge hiccup as this fight continues to linger and, dare I say, marinate. But the truth of the matter is, Mayweather-Pacquiao both had separate trajectories, and that's what made that fight so great. Both men were wrecking through their respected opposition, so we only thought each other were their greatest foes. And that's all that's going to happen, I think, right now. AJ's going to go fight the guys that are available to him, names like Usyk, and you can mention a few more. Wilder will fight the names that Eddie Hearn mentioned in his World Boxing, in this IFL interview. Now, Eddie mentioned a trilogy. Mike, I don't know, he got nervous and kind of retracted that, but he did mention a trilogy. And look, Eddie lies, but Eddie's been right before. When Eddie said Kovnacki and Luis Ortiz were industry rumored next opponents for Wilder, the more we probed, the more we found out that was true. Eddie's saying that it's coming down the pipeline that Wilder Fury are going to do a trilogy, which is going to have him busy all the way until 2021. So he'll fight Brazil, and then it'll be next Ortiz or Kovnacki, followed by Tyson Fury. So, I mean, again, it sucks as a boxing fan. You know, we wanted the AJ fight. And I heard the audio on Blue Blood's interview. I mean, Wilder's even saying because of the plan, even if they come for 50-50, he might not take it because they got a plan. I'll say this before everyone calls in saying take control of your career. We interviewed Oscar De La Hoya recently at Podcast Row in Las Vegas, and he said fighters need promoters. They need promoters to guide them, set a path and a plan for them. And I think that's what they're doing now. They got a path and a plan for Wilder, and it's not including Anthony Joshua at the moment. But if you think about it, in comparison, if Wilder does everything Eddie is saying, not what I'm saying, everything Eddie is saying, if Wilder goes and fights Tyson Fury two more times, we got to hypothetically assume he wins, because before he gets to those fights, he's got to beat Luis Ortiz and Adam Kovnacki. So we're talking about beating still one of the most perceived dangerous heavyweights, then beating an up-and-coming contender heavyweight, things that Joshua's done with guys like Dominic Breazeale and some of the other undefeated heavyweights he's fought, but then turning around and fighting again top 2 or 3 or 1 numbered heavyweight in the division 2 more times. How does Joshua compete with that? Does Usyk bring him to the level of an Ortiz? Does Usyk bring him to the level of a Tyson Fury? And let's not forget, before I pass it to you guys, Eddie said Dillian White's in the mix. So if Dillian is going to fight Wilder and not AJ, how does AJ build his U.S. profile? Meanwhile, Wilder's out here like a wrecking ball, knocking off top 4 opposition, Tyson Fury twice, Luis Ortiz, Adam Kovnacki. I don't see this as a bad thing. Show me how AJ compares and competes with that 4-man schedule. And I say 4 because obviously Tyson would be 2 fights according to Eddie Hearn. And we're going to choose to believe him today.
You're right, Nez, but I have a question for you. Who wants to see a 36-year-old Wilder fight AJ?
Well, last I checked, Mayweather was 36 years old when he fought Pacquiao.
Okay, but Wilder ain't no damn Mayweather.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, last I checked, Bernard Hopkins is a legend. He fought into his 50s. And last I checked,
hold on. So the undisputed fight.
The black athlete himself kind of, help me here, Mike. They like test time, right? Like they usually we sat down with Evander Holyfield. My man looked like he was about to fight.
Shit. I'm gonna give you one thing that holds true no matter what color you are. Heavyweights are some of the last fighters to be done, because their power and their ability isn't, their ability isn't what the smaller divisions are. They rely a lot on power. So power is the last thing to go. So 2021, he won't be 36. He'll be 35.
No. In 2020.
You muted, big dog. Okay.
I'm on mute.
All right, go ahead.
Muted?
No.
Yeah. So
Bruh, where's it's like, my nigga, you going in and out, my nigga. I don't know what's going on, homie. My nigga. But look, man, Back to the thing right quick. That sounds good, Ness, with the whole Fury and Kownacki and Ortiz and even Dillian White. That's a lot of fights for a guy within the span of 2 years. I agree with the Ortiz and Ortiz and fucking Kownacki fight, but I don't know if he'll fight both of them. If he does, he does. But the Fury fight, I wouldn't be mad about having the Fury fight because it's something there that's been left over that we haven't really got a conclusion to. So him fighting Fury for a rematch or even a trilogy is something that I wouldn't be opposed to. Now getting to AJ, what can AJ do to keep himself afloat at this time? He going to have to start knocking off some of these guys that we that I hold high. I want to see him in a Dillian White rematch. I even want to see him do what Wilder did. All right, nigga, you doping? You doping?
I'm not trying to.
You know what?
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to cut
you
you
have
off.
15 minutes. Huh?
No, listen,
let
I'm
me
not
finish.
trying to cut you off, but you got to stay within the realm of this reality in this interview. And Eddie said Dillian is gonna fight Wilder.
I understand what Eddie said, but Eddie don't control the world. And Dillian White, Eddie said he wanted to do the right thing by Dillian White and give him a title shot. What other either title shot is there than a guy in your own stable?
Well, again, if you would have read the article, that's what he said.
I did read it.
He said Dillian is the #1 contender, so he'll be fighting Wilder as the mandatory. That's what he said.
Has the WBC came out and said that?
Dude, again, we're talking about a 2-year span fight plan. So he's telling you the same thing he told you 3 weeks ago. Didn't he say Luke Campbell was going to fight for the WBC?
Yes.
Like, these people know what's going on. They
I
have
understand
dinners
that,
with
but the
Mauricio
WBC
Sulaiman.
can mandate Dillian White fight somebody for that mandatory spot.
Maybe, Mike, but not after all this happened. Not after all this happened. Not after Dillian White is bashing the WBC, telling them that they need to, do right by him.
He bashed them, and they still didn't do right by his ass. They still stood up to what they had said originally.
Yes, because that was already mandated. But that doesn't mean that they're going to put someone else before him now. That's what you're trying to say.
I'm not putting anybody before him.
Yes,
but
you're saying that they might put him in an eliminator now.
That's normally how it goes, Ness.
No, it ain't normally how it goes.
So
eliminator for who?
So Brazil did. Whoa. So Brazil did fight Molina for eliminator. So Brazil wasn't mandated to fight White for eliminator.
Every mandatory challenger doesn't have to go through an eliminator.
Until Fury backed out.
Michael, every mandatory challenger doesn't have to go through a title eliminator to become a mandatory challenger.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not being sarcastic. Did Luke Campbell fight in the eliminator that I don't know about? Because now he's gonna fight Lomachenko for the WBC and all the other belts. That's what I'm telling you. You don't have to go through an eliminator every single time. Listen, these guys pick and choose, and by these guys I mean sanctioning bodies. Obviously, look at the WBC picking now. That's a big fight with Vasil, so they want to be part of it. But that doesn't mean that what they've done is right.
But back to what I was saying, like if Eddie Hearn really wants to keep AJ afloat, give him Dillian White, then do what Wilder did with Ortiz, come back, let that drug cheat get clean, beat that drug cheat ass.
You're not gonna let me let you get through your sentence.
I don't care.
What was Dillian White arguing about? Did he rather be the mandatory to Wilder so that he don't have to give him a rematch, so he gets his mandatory split, so he can come back to AJ and fight AJ for a real purse?
He said he would take the fucking June 1st day. So that tells me that Dillian White still want that fucking smoke with AJ. He want his title shot.
Listen,
no matter if it comes from the fucking WBC or the WBA, WBO, IBF, IBO, and motherfucking WBO.
If we're talking about things Dillian White said, then we also know he said he would rather go the WBC mandatory route because he don't have to give anybody a rematch. And then the fight with AJ would be bigger.
If it is possible for Dillian White to fight AJ, do you think he will wait for Ortiz, Kownacki?
Well, last I checked, Khan, Dillian White turned down an AJ fight. AJ fight.
10 mil.
I told you, man, you're fucking cutting out, bro. I don't know what's going on, my nigga. But look, yeah, for a second now,
like
then I can't.
Connection.
But it's like this right here, bro. Dillian White turned down an AJ fight, but he also was the one of the guys that was willing to fucking take it on that short notice. I know it's
I
a
mean, he
contradiction.
said that. He said that. But when he was offered the appropriate time, he said he needed a 20-week training camp.
He was offered $3 million too.
No, $4 million.
Okay, $4 million.
Yeah,
to
and
him,
he said he was happy
less,
with that. He said he was happy with that. He just needed 20 weeks
bro,
for training camp.
He said the first offer that came from Eddie Hearn was like a $3 million offer, and he said if they really wanted to make that fight, they would offer him what they offered last
try
time.
Talking again. This dude don't want to tell the truth, bro.
Right.
It's heavily documented that Dillian White said he got everything he was asking for, but then he felt AJ needed to do 20 weeks of fucking drug testing. Come on, bro.
It's also heavily documented that he fucking stated the first offer from AJ was so fucking poor that Eddie Hearn told him that
first
hold on, nigga,
because
you
got
said
nothing to
shit.
do
Hold
with
on.
what he eventually would have accepted.
I can't speak for my fucking point.
No, you can speak. You just talking about a first offer. Like you the one coming out here making, never take the first offer famous. Now you want to talk about the first offer. No, talk about him saying in an IFL interview, they were giving me everything I wanted, but at that point, AJ needs to do 20 weeks of drug testing.
In that same fucking interview, he said Eddie Hearn told AJ, Dillian White's not going to accept that first offer. And his whole thing was, if you really wanted to make the fight with me, you came out with that bullshit offer first. You would have came out with the last offer you came out with and not wasted 3 fucking months. That was his point.
All right, but did he get ultimately what he wanted?
Not everything.
What didn't he get, Mike? 20 weeks. 20 weeks for AJ to do drug testing.
Yeah,
laugh it off. Laugh it off, because we both know how ridiculous it is.
It's what he wanted. It's what he wanted.
Exactly. So again, don't say that he was willing to step in, because he wanted 20 weeks of drug testing.
So he wasn't willing to step in?
No.
Or did Eddie say,
no, because he said he wanted 20 weeks of drug testing.
Fight. That's a UK fight.
He said he wanted 20 weeks of drug testing.
Do your homework, dog.
He said he wanted 20 weeks of drug testing. Now you're going to tell me all of a sudden he was going to step in on short notice.
He was, but Eddie said that's not a US fight. Right. It's a UK fight.
Moving on.
You said it too. Man. And I'm surprised that you ain't stuck with it.
I don't need to stick with it. We're not talking about that now. We're talking about Dillian getting offered what he wanted and saying he wasn't going to accept it, only because you keep saying something differently in your opening argument. It's
not different, bruh. I'm saying what you're saying, but I'm not saying how you want me to say it. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. But Khan, how's your microphone going, brother?
No, it does sound better.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I understand you. Obviously, you're getting heated about Dillian White. The truth is, you're actually both right. Dillian White was willing to take that AJ fight June 1st. Dillian White also wanted 20 weeks of testing. Dillian White also wanted a very high payday to take that June 1st fight. But let's go back to the fact that this Wilder fight's not happening anytime soon. And the reason why Eddie Hearn is actually saying this is because Wilder has come out in statements, and Wilder 5 months into the year, let's realize that
Damn, he left again, champ. What's going on with you over there? You gone?
I don't know.
It sounds like you muted yourself though. It's not service at this point.
It's like your mic just keep on popping up with an X slashing. I don't know, man. But yeah, man. I kind of was listening to you too, bro. And you had some good points.
Looked like he was about to come at our whole argument, but
yeah.
God bless America. Try again. Nothing. Are you talking? Hello.
No, I'm still. I can't hear it, guys. So I can't.
It just cuts out. That's so weird.
As well.
You start off fine and then you just go away.
Damn, guys.
That's all good, man. The main thing is that this AJ and Wilder fight, we all been thinking 2020. But if what everything that Eddie says happens, then that's oh man, it might start trickling down that Mayweather and Pacquiao thing, which we don't want at all. I just don't think
that's a bad route, bro. I just don't think that's a bad route. When we try to use the Mayweather Pacquiao analogy or comparison to this fight, people say no, both those guys were pay-per-view stars. Well, right now we have that opportunity. Right now Wilder did one pay-per-view. AJ's just coming to get his homecoming here in Coming to America, right? And they both they both are going to simultaneously be building their U.S. market. Wilder has a slight advantage, but AJ brings in the 10 to 17,000 UK tickets. So he'll be always selling out. Wilder, you got to match him correctly to sell out. Oh, match him with Luis Ortiz. It's got history. Match him with Dominic Brazil. They got that history. Match him with Kovnacki. He sells tickets. He's Poland. He's got his own backing. But AJ, he's going to be bringing the people plus his American audience. And I think it's good. I think they'll both build. Look, do I want it right now? Yeah.
We all do.
We all do. But, history shows us that it takes a little bit more time. Just a little bit more time. Can we get it? Yeah. Maybe John Skipper wants it that bad. But it's obvious, I got to admit, it's obvious that Wilder and his team have other plans. They got other plans, unfortunately.
Real quick, we got 620 watching, so that means I need 620 thumbs up. If you like what you're hearing, if you mess with the show, if you like what we're doing every morning, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button, man. It helps us grow, it helps us get more visible, it helps us go more places so we can do more things like we did last week. But what do you think the Wilder team is trying to do, man? Do you think that they're trying to solidify that A-side position? Are they doing what's similar to what Earl Spence is doing?
Solidify it, I don't know.
I mean, if we do a pay-per-view with 3 back-to-back.
No, but yes, you are doing what Earl Spence is doing. You've created your own lane. It's just the truth. And Mayweather and Pacquiao existed this way, Mike. I mean, look, Wilder has Dominic Brazil in May. Who do you think is next? Is it Ortiz after Brazil?
Possibility.
Then you got Brazil. Ortiz next. Then what?
Then Koronaki probably December time.
Koronaki. Now wait a minute. You're saying Brazil after the May fight? You're saying Ortiz after the May fight. When are you putting that together? That's got to be like November.
May, June, July, August, September.
No. He's already fighting in May, champ.
I'm saying May, June, July, August, September. I will go again in September. Wilder ain't fought all the first half of this year.
You're saying Wilder in May 18th, then come back September with Ortiz, then come back December?
Maybe January. Maybe January, February. I would like to see him more active, because this year he's not fought till May of this year. You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen him in the ring since December, which is not his fault because him and Fury were negotiating, and one guy backed out of the fucking rematch.
So you're saying Kovnacki, Wilder, January. So when's the Fury Wilder rematch?
You gotta set it for the summertime.
Unfinished
then you set it for
business.
You gotta set it for the summertime because I don't think they want to put the Fury fight in between the Super Bowl or March Madness. So you want to do it around this time right here when the sports season starts slowing down. Now
keep in mind you're giving Wilder a lot of fights before Fury. Fury only said he wants 2 tune-ups. He's got Tom Schwartz in June, then another tune-up.
And no disrespect to these guys, but you know what I'm saying. Brazil, I don't see that fight going that far. Ortiz is going to be a little bit more competitive. And no disrespect again, no disrespect. Adam Koronaki, I just don't think he's there yet. He's going to get there, but I don't think he's there yet. And getting in the ring with Wilder and being...
He said a 12-week training camp, and he going to beat Wilder. That's why... he knows he likes that fight.
And you can give him 24 weeks. I don't think he'll be Wilder. He's just not tall enough in my opinion. He doesn't have the reach. Probably won't be able to get inside on Wilder. And when he try to get in, that jab and right hand gonna come down the motherfucking middle.
Yo, sources close to the camp told me that Andy Ruiz took the AJ fight because all he really had on the table was Adam Kovnacki, who wasn't a definite because
Adam fighting Areola, right?
Well, possibly. He's supposed to get a easy fight because he's just waiting. He's waiting for the Wilder fight. So that's what it is. So it's like
he's waiting for the Wilder fight.
Of course. So look,
because you talked to him more than I did because I rolled up.
Ruiz calls out Kovnacki. So obviously he was instructed to. Kovnacki got to accept, but Kovnacki got that possible Wilder fight. So do you go into a Andy Ruiz fight that's tough? Or do you take an Areola fight in between, maybe on the undercard of Wilder Fury? Of Wilder Brazil or Wilder Fury or whatever, wherever they're going to put it at, and then get that Wilder fight because he's in line in terms of in-house opposition. The way that Usyk's in line, the way that Dillian is in line, the way that Flip Hardrovic will be in line the minute he starts buzzing. The way that Michael Hunter was about to be called up from the amateurs for the big fight, you know? That's the way that it works.
My niggas to the amateurs. But big ups to Michael Hunter, man, who's not an amateur at all.
I was trying to use a baseball analogy.
Yeah,
you know
I
how baseballers, they have the triple A's and then they call them up
minor
for the
leagues
big game.
and the upper leagues, yeah.
My bad, Michael.
I think Kovnacki, man, I really like Adam, man. I like his pressure. I like everything about him. I just don't think that, man, this fucking heavyweight division, man, is tough, man. There only could be like one or two people that claim the throne. And I just think if Adam, I know he wants that title shot. I know he wants it bad, but get a little bit more tuning, man. A little bit more tuning.
Nah, he don't want it bad. Remember, they are not rushing. Are not rushing. But if they get one more fight and then a 12-week camp, they think they ready. Like, you see power, but remember, other people see flaws. That's why Wilder say people think I'm a bum till they get in there. Mm-hmm. And then it's a different story. So, maybe that's Adam. Maybe he's looking at like, this dude is mad wild. I'm coming straight down the middle. I just need to train hard because I'm going to throw punches at him nonstop. He ain't going to scare me. And that's what a lot of people think. But then it's like Tyson said, till you get punched in the face. You had that game plan. You thought you was going to swarm him with punches until you got hit with that first punch.
I found some opponents for Anthony Joshua, though. I mean,
okay, talk to me.
Got to remember, ESPN does have Kubrat Pulev, no matter what he has.
Eddie mentioned that in the article, but he mentioned Usyk and Pulev. That doesn't do it for the U.S. You talking about two dudes. Dillian, where you at? Mr. White.
No one knows him. Speaks no English.
And he's talking about both of them dudes. Like, who are those dudes? Like, Pulev, please.
I know, but he's with ESPN, and Bob is going to push that.
Yeah, but that's a mandatory. That's why he's mentioning it.
Exactly. So Bob is going to push it and probably try to outbid Eddie to get Pulev and Joshua on his network.
I don't know if they'll do it with this guy. I don't know if John Skipper will allow Dazn to be outbid for a AJ fight because that's one of their marquee guys. But you got to think, though, Bob and Dazn are under pressure to deliver. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that, but who's under more pressure? The dude that left ESPN to lose a purse bid to ESPN with your flagship fighter. He's their flagship fighter. If you lose the purse bid to ESPN, you have failed.
He's one of their flagship fighters. I still think, man.
He got shares in the company, man.
Yeah, but he's not Canelo.
Him and Eddie got shares. They in it for the long haul.
But he's on a fight-to-fight basis, though, with Dazn.
Because he's a great businessman. He knows that there's pay-per-views out there he got to make. This ain't got nothing to do with friendship. It's all business.
It's not, but if Eddie says that he's able to fight on ESPN and Bob is willing to pay, why not let the guy come over to ESPN, get more exposure, then go back to Dazn?
I don't disagree with you. I just don't agree that John Skipper will lose a purse bid for an AJ fight to ESPN, his former employer.
You gotta think though, nigga, strategically. How many people would fucking Kubrat Pulev gonna bring to the zone fighting AJ?
Exactly why you don't lose a purse bid. I mean, how much money you think Bob is going to put on? How much money you think Bob is going to put down as his purse for this, for his bid for this, knowing it's Pulev, knowing the viewership that Pulev just did, knowing that Pulev got that scandal, sex scandal going around where he's aggressively, forcefully kissing women who, you know. There are other stories out there and other videos that paint her in a different light, but it doesn't matter. We gotta realize, like, she could be rotting, lap dancing you all night, nigga. If she don't want you to kiss her, she don't want you to kiss her. No still mean no. So like, people could put out all the videos she want. Like, that's just how it is. For women, they get it that way. So Pulev got a lot of dirt that maybe ESPN doesn't want to bring to light right now. Maybe they do want to lose a purse bid. Just saying.
I understand that, but I still think that if you're John Skipper, you don't waste money on Kubrat Pulev and Anthony Joshua on the zone. You let AJ go over there for one fight, take care of his business, get his exposure, his brand up, and get a little patch of the zone on his shorts. You know what I'm saying? And sell it like that.
I'll tell you one thing, man. I agree with you. Oh, you back? What's up, Akan?
What's up, guys? Let's hope it's a bit better now. Yeah, Mike, the Zone are making an investment in AJ by giving him a career high payday, right? There's no way that they're then going to say, okay, we're giving you a career high payday, MSG headliner, and now we're going to just allow you to go to ESPN. They're going to want to build on that. So even if go ahead, Mike.
Let me add this in. Just to play devil's advocate with Mike here, right? If you're John Skipper, you spent a lot of money this year. Maybe you go into this purse bid with a good poker face. You send Eddie there with a good poker face. You underbid. You strategically, Akan, let AJ go to the biggest sports network in America. Let AJ say that he's now fighting on DAZN. Let AJ get some U.S. exposure to only add exposure to his new U.S. broadcaster. It could be playing your enemy like a fiddle. I don't know.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I mean? So if you look at Showtime as a competitor, then you got to possibly go do business with the other competitor that's a big a broadcaster in the States, and that will be ESPN. It won't be bad business by having him on there for a Kubrat Pulev fight, and ESPN knowing that AJ will be on there. They'll probably put him on all kind of shows to get him big and like hype him up and get his buzz going, because they want to see people. They want people to see him fight on their platform. But John Skipper could be like, fuck that, and say, hey, I just want him to fight on the zone. If he's fighting in the States, this is where he's fighting at.
Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. So hit that thumbs up button. Make it blue. If it's gray, you ain't do it right today. Hit the thumbs up. Show that you appreciate this morning show every single morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and 6 a.m. Pacific Standard, 2 p.m. UK. Akan, you want to finish your point? I just was, trying to let you know maybe they could use this to their benefit, but what was your thought?
My thought is you don't even go after Pulev. I agree with what you said. I think Pulev has got a lot of issues going on. I don't see that fight happening this year. If he gets it cleared out, then of course. But I don't see that fight happening this year. If I'm AJ, I'll go back to Ortiz. I know that he's in Wilder's plans at some point, but I'll go and I'll...
Gone with the win, champ. What is going on in the UK? Yo, the Queen is acting funny with the bandwidth out there, bro. For real. Fuck, I don't even know what to say. It kind. I mean, it's like you're.
Let me ask you a question though. What do you feel about AJ saying that he's still willing to fight Jarrell Miller? He wanted to fight him anyway if he said he was on PEDs.
I like it. Listen, I like it. Even though I'm saying this, honestly, wholeheartedly. I am not an expert in PEDs. I don't even Google it. I haven't even Googled what Big Baby took outside of that GH 14, 16, whatever the fuck that was. But the other one that Michael Gross, told me he had to physically inject. I didn't even Google that.
Right? I didn't Google either.
Okay, so I don't know what it does, but from that, saying that, people wanted Wilder to fight Povetkin. Mm-hmm. People wanted him to fight Ortiz, and he fought Ortiz. There's other fights that we always were like, fuck, we wanted that fight. And then, I wanted Amir Khan versus Lamont Peterson, believe it or not. I wanted that fight because I felt Peterson beat Amir Khan in the first fight, and it was tainted because of the guy in the hat, because of the testosterone pellets. So I wanted to see if Peterson was good, or was that the help of the performance enhancements drug. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind if he fought him as long as, he's clean. This time he's clean. Like when Wilder fought Ortiz, he was clean,
Yeah, the only reason I knew about EPO was the week prior or 2 weeks prior, a UFC fighter named TJ Dillashaw got popped with it, and Joe Rogan did like a little 15-minute thing on it and actually stated that the EPO has to be injected. He had like a expert on there, and then those guys were talking. And that's the only way you could ingest EPO. But yeah, man, if AJ goes back and fights Jarrell Miller, I definitely give him kudos for that. I always like to see those kind of guys.
What you gonna do? Like if you're AJ and you're on that side, what are you gonna do? I mean, that dude's there. You got to use them. Someone's going to use them. Someone will give them the opportunity. And look, and if you're AJ, you can wait that out too. You can let him go half the fight in Usyk or Flip Hargrovic or somebody like that before making his bones again. You can, because you're AJ. You get to pick and choose.
Absolutely. Khan, do you get everything situated, or should we go to the callers?
Yeah, go to the callers, guys. I have no idea what's going on with my internet here.
And it right there, it was fine. It just doesn't want to let you. The queen is saying no long conversation from you.
I just had a look.
Look, oh my God, that's so sick.
That shit just goes off, my nigga. And it's like it may be your Skype, my nigga. You might want to restart your Skype, because every time you talk, I see the little microphone by your name have a slash through it. That means it's muted.
Yeah, restart. Maybe look for the update too, right? If you go to Skype and there's a little button that says search, check update.
I just updated it before I jumped on.
Oh, man. So maybe you need to restart it. Restart it so we can come back to you, bro, because the people want your points. We're going to go out to the callers. Remember, the number to call in is 1-425-569-5241. Before we go to those calls, maybe we should read some of these quotes, right, guys? I mean, only right. Let's see.
Yeah,
here.
you do
the
that.
First
I'm
one,
looking to these super chats.
The first one says, I can't understand, if you're Deontay Wilder, why would you not fight Anthony Joshua for double, treble the money you're making anywhere else? Is there for him? Yo, I think that these people made plenty of mistakes in this. They're missing an I, too, on the next quote. I think they rushed this article out because they put treble there. And you know, I looked it up, and it's like, yeah, you can use treble in that way where it's a 3-part. But why would Wilder be taking a 3-part payment on the AJ fight? So I just think they messed up on the grammar with this.
I think it's the UK slang that Eddie was using.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think treble,
because treble we got two definitions. Obviously, it's treble for the music, for the highs on the speakers.
Yeah.
And then, however Eddie's using it. But again, why would it be a 3-part? Like, but whatever.
Because you can say a 3-part, but you know how we use like oh man, she bad, but we don't mean like she bad in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Using 3-part, that don't mean we're gonna break it up in 3-part payment. If 3 times it's a payday. Just probably like a little slang that the UK have.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for educating me on UK grammar. So he goes on to say, I know that Ortiz has already been promised a Wilder fight. I know that Adam Kovnacki has already been promised a Wilder fight. So we're not just talking about 2020. We might be talking about 2021 when Wilder's available. It's bullshit for the sport of boxing. It really is. It's annoying because certain people without the brain capacity presume that Joshua doesn't want to fight Wilder. You couldn't be more wrong. Take control of your own career. He's always says in interviews, these promoters don't let you do this and you've got to be in control of your own career. If you want the fight, take control of your own career. Now, Wilder obviously is going to fight, end quote, excuse me. Wilder's obviously going to fight, but this is part of the article, which was important. Wilder's going to battle Dominic Brazil May 18th, obviously for the WBC, and it's a mandatory. But then the author goes on to say that it could be Ortiz or Fury 2 in the fall. Fall being something like Mike said, September, November. Fury 3 is expected to take place at the back end of 2020 or early 2021, leaving a little room for movement. But if we're talking 2020 back end, that leaves at least one fight for Wilder. So if Wilder's fighting in the fall versus Fury, and then he's not going to do the rematch for the trilogy until the end, there's a fight that he could slide in. Now, I don't understand how they're looking this far ahead because these are all tough fights. What happens with wins and losses? But these are the quotes. So this is interesting too. As far as DAZN, Joshua must now concentrate on forcing
90 seconds.
His own stateside path. This is exactly what we talked about. Forcing his own stateside path with the run of fights catering to American audiences. AJ has outgrown the UK market after selling out Wembley and the Principality Stadium. Joshua is also needed by DAZN due for their U.S. market sign-up push. So a stint of mandatory contenders is being lined up for the foreseeable future with Alexander Usyk, Kubrat Pulev, just 2 names on the list. But the WBA will be adding their number 1 contender sooner rather than later. So, you know.
Trevor Bryan?
So, yeah. So, like, both of these guys got shit to do.
Usyk G got hurt, so I don't think he he might, you know what I'm saying, but I don't know how fast he would come back from that bicep injury to face Takium, then go into a fight with AJ. So that WBO might get. If WBO, how does that work? If
Dude,
WBO
the way
calls,
to avoid this is to try and strike a deal before
10
Bob
seconds.
Arum and Shelly Finkel, Wilder and Fury team sit down. The same way, because listen, Wilder could still, pay Fury back. So if that offer is good enough, remember, Fury had the contract for the rematch for 5 days and then left to ESPN. So Wilder could do the same. He could have his contract for the rematch and let AJ and Eddie give him a better offer or at least a similar offer. I mean, it won't be similar, obviously, because the AJ fight is bigger and it means a bigger pay-per-view. So, the shit is they got to make it work. This is just a strong possibility, but this could all be fixed with a good contract.
As I think about it more and more, man, ESPN might fuck around and be the network that's going to win the most out of this whole thing. Let's take it from the top. We got the Wilder and Fury that's possibly in play, right? So ESPN will probably have a joint pay-per-view with a Showtime. That's probably safe enough to say because Bob was on. I believe Bob was on here with us, and I asked him how that fight would happen, and he said it would be a joint pay-per-view between them and Showtime. Now let's move on to the Kubrat Pulev and series. Sorry, but let's move to the Pulev and AJ. If that fight happens and Bob's able to get AJ by purse bid over to ESPN, that's another win. Now, the WBO. We don't know if Dillian White and Oscar Rivas will be shown on ESPN, but there were rumors earlier this year that Dillian White has some kind of deal brewing with ESPN. So if a fight comes up and shows on ESPN, then that could tell me if Usyk says to the WBO, I'm not ready yet, and they go down to the second person on that list, which is Dillian White. If Dillian White fights AJ, that U.S. rights could be a game changer. It could be a possible what went on with Klitschko and AJ for the Showtime and HBO fight. Like Dillian White could possibly land on ESPN fighting AJ too. So ESPN could possibly be the biggest winner out of all of this. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but if everything plays out, which all indications seem like they are, then we might possibly see AJ and Dillian White on ESPN. If Usyk says to the WBA, I was injured, I just fought Takiam, I'm not ready for this mandatory yet.
Well, he ain't even fight Takiam yet, so.
I'm talking in the future. I'm injured, I'm back, I just fought Takiam.
I know. I'm just saying, we'll see. I mean, they saying he's out for like till the fall.
And that's even better. So the WBO is gonna have to go to that second person on their list if they were not even second, because Usyk has the right to call his mandatory. So right now, Dillian White is still number one in the WBO.
All right, well, let's take it to the streets, man, and talk to our public. Give them
594 watching. Please. I need 595 thumbs up. Just helps us get bigger and better with the show. If you want to go one step farther, head over to the Patreon / The Boxing Voice and sign up for as little as $3 a month. Today we have a show, I believe it's Wednesday. We got to figure out what we're going to do for Wednesday.
Actually, we got an interview scheduled with a sports betting expert that's going to become a regular on the show.
Awesome.
His name is JB. I got his bio here.
Did we meet him down in?
Yes,
is that the guy we met in Vegas?
Yes, we did.
Awesome.
So we're just trying to, strengthen the betting show, and we're gonna interview him and obviously get some tips, and then beg him to be a Friday regular.
Yes, sir.
All right,
man, I'm ready for it, man. All the callers, get your thoughts in order, man, and let's rock out.
Let's do it.
Tell the truth.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Speaking of, we got some iTunes reviews we're going to get to.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
I'm going to get to a super chat while you find those iTunes reviews. We got one from Chevon. Deontay Wilder won't beat AJ at 36-year-old, bro. Shaking my head. That's your opinion, man. We got one from Timer TV. Floyd was 39. He was 37 versus Canelo. So he was 39 when he fought Manny. We got one from Eric Cruz. Says, good morning, TBV. And Chevin comes back with another one. Deontay Wilder turns 34 in October in 2021. He will be 36. Deontay Wilder depends on athleticism /speed /quickness. Any fighter that leans on those traits won't be elite at 36.
All right, going out to the callers.
BoxingVoice.com. It's money to shit. Working that wrist. Ballin' like Swiss. Diamonds wet like a fish. Pull up with them sticks. Come fuck with the clique. We fucked on your bitch. She sucking the dick. I'm whipping the work.
Hey, yo, what's going on? It's your boy H Money, Mr. Dazn. And I want to talk about Deontay Wilder, man. And, we all got to be patient, man. This fight ain't going to happen when we want it to happen. It's going to happen when God say it's going to happen. So all the negative energy people got towards Deontay Wilder, they need to cut it out. Because he's the first American heavyweight champion since Evander Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? That guy needs his credit. And you see, Evander Holyfield, he always salutes Deontay Wilder. And I'm a Dazn fan. You know what I mean? So hopefully the fight can happen. And we all know Anthony Josuha making $32 million a fight. He don't need anybody. And the fight with Anthony Joshua and Usyk, that's going to be a super fight. Because Usyk, he beat Joe Joyce. Yeah, he beat Joe Joyce. And Usyk, he won the gold medal, just like Anthony Joshua. So you got an undisputed champion versus another undisputed champion. 2 champions with 4 belts. I can't wait for this fight to happen because it's going to be a super fight. Salute the show. Everybody hit the like button. Salute to everybody in the chat. TVD for life, you heard?
Going out to Baltimore, Troy. Good morning.
Good morning, Troy. What's going on, man?
And I got a question that has nothing to do with money, just common sense, right? If you're the oldest of the top heavyweights, which Wilder is, why would you want to wait? Wouldn't it suit you better to just get this fight now? Because you can't beat for all the time. No one does.
Troy, can I tell
So,
you what suits you better?
I don't know, brother. Go ahead.
I wouldn't be able to, though. That's the thing, because I don't know you. I wouldn't be able to. We all think we know each other just because we read a couple of articles.
I'm speaking from a common sense point of view, man. I'm not speaking from any other point of view.
All right, let's talk common sense. Let's talk common sense.
Right.
Starting with specifically you. You've come on here time and time again and said that technically he's not good, right? So don't you think getting... Hold on a minute. Listen. You've said technically he isn't good. So again, common sense...
No, I have not. I said
listen.
I said his boxing career is a fraud.
You good. You see, your calls are
go ahead,
your
man.
calls not fun when we don't engage, right? So we won't engage. Go ahead, you talk.
Go ahead and make your point, man.
I'm good. I'm good. You
Man,
can't be respectful.
Y'all old niggas, boy. Yeah, no, I'm good, man. You go. No, you go.
Nah, I mean he can't help but talk. So now he's done. I'll wait for him.
I mean, he did call into the show. He kind of want to talk.
Okay. So now we're giving him the platform, and he's quiet. It's just you and I talking.
No, I'm not being quiet. I'm just listening to you, man, because you had something to say. So say what you had to say, please.
Cut it.
All right.
Cut it.
You know, it's crazy for me to think that people like, oh, wouldn't it be better for him to fight now? I mean, these are the same people that criticize him for not being technically sound. So you telling me it's not sensible to go into the biggest fight of your career with a bit of preparation? You know, fighting a few other peoples to tighten some things up. It sounds almost like what AJ said, right? You know, when he said, I'm not going to be rushed, you know? But it's crazy. Like, you can't think both ways, you know, with these guys. But whatever.
Nah, man. Look here. Troy's never been a real big Wilder fan, so I don't expect him to call in and be so gung-ho about what the news is. He wants to see the fight, and he feels like maybe he feels like if Wilder does get more fights, he'll be a little bit more dangerous towards AJ, and that's not what he wants.
Yeah, man, I guess, bro. I guess. Edward in Alabama, talk to me.
What else is going on, Edward?
Shit, man. Hey,
There's
what's up,
only
man?
one Deontay Wilder.
Shout out Alabama.
That's why I represent, man. Represent. Like you said, man. I feel you. I'm glad you kind of checked homeboy right there. It's they insult Wilder's intelligence, and then they make fun of him, and then they wonder why he makes certain decisions. Eddie Hearn talking about take control of your career. That's exactly what Wilder's done. I mean, I hate that the fight. It looks like it looks gloomy that the fight might not happen. But at this point in time, for him to sit there and come out and say, "Oh, he talks about his promoter," I've never heard Wilder say he ain't did something because of his promoters. I don't know where he got that from. And he's talking about somebody taking control of their career. When AJ said, "Let's roll," you should have let him go ahead and take the Wilder fight then. But you didn't. I mean, so everybody's been playing this "I got forever" game, and it is what it is. I look forward to the matchups that's going to happen. You know, if Wilder got what I mean. I don't really want him to fight Ortiz because that's a dangerous fight. I don't care how old Ortiz is. I mean, so it's not like he's taking a fight that's going to be easy. And Konaki's coming up. I mean, hey, if he gets a path in Fury, that was a great fight the first time. I mean, that just is what it is. That's taking control of his career. So, I don't know. Eddie Hearn, I guess he's just trying to make himself remain relevant. I don't think he wants to fight either. So, I don't know what to think anymore. I just want to watch some boxing. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Eddie Hearn under pressure, man. He's feeling that pressure. Like, when I was listening to Nesbrito's close, I could only just think, like, Eddie really wants to fight, and I think he's under pressure from the zone to deliver something
big. Bro, if you really want this fight, stop putting weird ass rematch clauses in the back end.
Yeah. I mean, that's part.
Stop being this,
But that's a part of being a promoter and trying to do the best for your guy. No, I'm not expecting him to damn me take it, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, being a good promoter, you kind of put those kind of things in the contract, you know what I'm saying? Just to protect your fighter.
All right, let me go out to Skype. Looks like we got a first-time caller. Adrian, talk to me.
What's going on, Adrian, man? Where you calling from, homie?
Yeah, I'm calling from the UK, man.
What's going on, brother?
UK, stand up.
Boy, flipping at this whole heavyweight scene's a mess right now, isn't it?
Yeah, man, looks that way.
A bit of a mess. I think it's gonna start getting good though, man. I believe it's like the time when Vlad lost the belts, man. Pretty soon the FAs, the Hargrovics, they're gonna be in the mix too, man. Even Dillian White and Luis Ortiz are gonna have to get shots or get pushed out by somebody. So I think it's only gonna get better. I know we want the top, but think about it. How old is AJ? He's like 28, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
it's too soon. That dude got like 12 more years of fights, man. He got 12 more years of fights.
Forgetting about the age, the whole AJ thing. Look at the problems with like Dillian White. It's meant to be fighting Wilder and all the Brazil nonsense and all that. What's all that about, man? Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean? Well, like, why is
like the whole Brazil fight? Like, why is it even happening? Like, really and truly, Dillian White is meant to be fighting him. I don't understand why. We've got AJ, who's a heavyweight champion, who's got 4 belts. Then we've got Dillian White, who's number 1, in the WBC, but he can't fight Wilder, who's the champion. And then Wilder's not fighting our champion, who's the UK champion, you want to say, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I don't understand. I really don't understand why the fights can't happen.
Takes time, man. Takes time.
Yeah, I know it takes time, but come on now. Time's not always destined for everybody. Anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? Look at Nipsey Hussle, man.
It could. No, look at Juan Manuel Lopez and Gamboa. That's when we were first introduced to the word marination, and fighters could take a loss. But if a fighter takes a loss, he wasn't meant to be here. Pacquiao took the loss. Marquez knocked him off, and guess what happened? Floyd still whooped his ass because he wasn't meant to be here. So if Wilder or AJ take a loss in between, they weren't the super fight that we thought. Because only super fights stay relevant.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I give you that point, man. I give you that point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it'll fall off, bro. It's the heavyweight division. Ali had losses. Like, we forget that, man. That Floyd Mayweather syndrome has got us brainwashed. Frazier had losses. Ali had losses. George Foreman had losses.
Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Lennox
Michael
Lewis.
Moore, everybody, man. Lennox Lewis, everybody lost. It ain't a big deal if Wilder loses or AJ loses or Fury loses or that Ortiz lost. Give him a shot.
I understand that. Yeah, all right then. I hear what you're saying in that point there, but at that same point can be made, saying, well, why isn't Wilder fighting the best in the division then? Why is he only fighting people that he wants to fight? Do you know what I mean?
Technically,
so you saying Fury and Ortiz are not the best in the division?
And Kornacki not top 10?
I'm not being funny, but obviously Ortiz give him a run for his money, and Fury should have really won that fight, and everybody says that.
So then you are saying they're the best in the division because you're saying one guy almost beat him and the other guy should have beat him.
No, I'm not saying that they're the best in the division. Do you know what I mean? Because they're still in the division, but they're not holding the top positions in the rankings right now, are they? Do you know what I mean? As much as anyone can say,
of course they are. Listen to me.
Wilder's this, Ortiz is that.
Listen to me. The top of the rankings. What rankings are you looking at that AJ, Fury, and Ortiz aren't ranked in the top 5? Where are you looking? Where?
I'm not saying they're ranked in the top 5. I'm saying they're not the best.
How the fuck doesn't that make you the best, bro?
Because who's holding the belts? The people that are holding the belts are meant to be the best right
champion.
now. So why don't they fight each other?
No, you're using the wrong words. You're using the wrong words. You're saying they're not a champion.
Everybody's fighting contenders. Everybody's fighting contenders instead of fighting champions.
Because there's only 2 champions. Everybody can't fight champions.
And that's the mega fight that we all want to have.
After Fury's been out for 3 years, but yet Wilder doesn't want to fight AJ. But yeah, he's calling out AJ left, right, and center. But then when AJ puts it on his toes, you don't want to fight.
You're more frustrated. You're more frustrated than AJ, which is sad because now the UK is in an uproar, right? Now they want Wilder to fight AJ. But when them offers was coming through, oh, find your pen. Oh, take whatever. You ain't worth it. Like
the
I don't
50 million
understand
ain't
you
real.
guys. Like you guys, come on, man. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like,
just like
you shit on a guy, you tell him he's not worth anything, you go and you make multiple people make videos. Do you know Deontay Wilder? Do you know you clown him, now you're begging to do business with him. Yo, it is hilarious. Hilarious. How do you expect to clown someone but then beg to do business?
Oh man, I don't know. I see. You already know how I feel about that. Shouldn't let emotions get in the way of good business. But at the time, it don't seem like this is necessarily good business, guys. Like I stated before, like the $120 million sound good on the surface, but AJ and Wilder first fight, man, they gonna make some fucking money, bro. If they keep on marinating and let it wait, man, this shit gonna get up to 2-3 million buys, man, in the U.S. alone. Then you get all the other territories.
Yeah, but the only way to get it to those 3 million, 2 million buys in the U.S. alone, Mike, is by actually having fights in the U.S. And that's why this path, whether they like it or not, is the right path for these men. Not for us, but for them to get their little 50, 60, $100 million check, this is what they got to do. They got to make more American pay-per-view paying consumers want this fight. And right now, who wants it? UK pay-per-view buys? That's not enough. It's not enough. It's got to be way more US buys. Way more US buys. But listen, man, final thoughts.
Final thoughts are shit. Let's see how this plays out, man. I can't really say too much about it, bro. I just got to see how this plays out, and hopefully we ain't got to wait to 2021, but it might have to.
Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Future, present, past, doesn't matter. Helps with the visibility of the show. Hitting the thumbs up button on an old video will put that video in the eyes of a new listener that can turn into a new caller. And a new caller can turn into a new character on the show. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up button as it hits helps the visibility of the show. And while you're there, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to that 200,000. We've made it to 100,000 finally. Next stop, 100,000. No, 102.5 is the next milestone. So we got a couple hundred to get to that. So don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs, Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. Listen, man, you can hate me. I know that you do. But at the end of the day, dude, I'm not in control. You know, I'm not the one telling Wilder to fight or not fight. Like I wasn't telling AJ send them flat fees. You know what I'm saying? People get mad. This is real life. We got feelings and emotions involved with shit. So, like, you sending over flat fees, you treating me, you know, look, I mean, was it Wilder that went as far as saying that it was a slave contract or some shit like that? Did he say that?
Yeah, man. Yep.
And then he also said that he also said that Eddie was milking AJ. So, like, those are the words coming from Wilder after being treated a certain way. So now he's trying to make his own lane. That's that, man. Tell AJ to do the same.
We got a super chatty from our guy Joseph Rodriguez Garcia, a mastermind. Kownacki versus Areola, August 3rd, official.
Yeah, that's that prelude fight. He got to stay ready for Wilder in Brooklyn.
For a future reference.
Yo, look. Be honest. Nah. Be honest, Mike. Do you like Wilder Ortiz too?
Do I like it?
Yeah.
It's not
like. Do you have the right to feel the way that I felt about Con Crawford?
Yeah. I do, but I don't.
Do you think that that's logical to feel the way I felt for Con Crawford for Ortiz Wilder 2?
Oh no.
So you think Ortiz Wilder 2 it's a value fight?
Yeah. It's a better fight than Amir Khan and Crawford. But
what about Wilder Kownacki?
I can say from what I've seen from Ortiz the past 2 fights, yeah. I think that first fight with Wilder possibly took a lot out of him. But what I think about Wilder and Kownacki,
yep.
I think it's one of those fights that Wilder deserves after being in there tough back to back.
Deserves. Now that's funny that you're kind of chalking it up as an easy fight when
I'm not saying it's an easy fight.
Just check it out. If you look at Brazil's resume, he had less fights than Kownacki with less names on his resume when he fought AJ for all the belts. Or for at least 1 or 2, right?
Yeah,
How many was it?
IBF belt.
All right, there you go. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Interesting that I don't know.
I just don't think Kownacki has the necessary dimensions and link to give these guys give these big 6'7" guys problems. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a little bit too short, and that's like no knock on him, just how tall he is. And that's the only problem that I really see. But who knows? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can prove me wrong and cause a major monumental upset. But yeah, if you're listening right now on YouTube, smash that thumbs up button, and follow me on IG at Gross1911. Or on Twitter at Gross2312.
Yeah, we got a late boomerang call. KO, talk to me.
What's going on, KO?
We was leaving. Lucky
Yo,
boomerang.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. You lot putting in the work, so much respect to you guys. Listen, I know you guys don't want to believe that Wilder is ducking AJ. So I'm not going to even talk about that. Let's talk about Dillian Whyte. Now, you claim Wilder says he wants to fight the best, but Wilder has clearly been ducking Whyte because Whyte has been the number 1 contender for the last 2 years, and Wilder still doesn't want to fight him. And he keeps saying,
what does the number 1 contender make you? That means I have to fight you?
It means he's the best in the WC rankings, right?
Wouldn't the best be the mandatory? That's why he's next?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
When the last mandatory, who was the last man in the main event? Was he the best?
Dude, according to the rankings, yes.
He got your ass.
According to the rankings, yes.
No, he wasn't exactly.
Listen, Mike.
He wasn't the best.
All you want. You can laugh all you want, but when they mandate Trevor Bryan versus AJ, he's going to be the best.
I'm gonna be laughing too.
He's going to be the best. The same way they did Povetkin, and he was the best. That's the way that it goes. These are the rankings.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you that you claim Wilder says he wants to fight the best. And we know the number 1 ranked person is Dillian Whyte. So technically, he's the best in the WBC ranking.
But he's not
Why
the best.
doesn't he want to fight him?
But he's not the best. KO'd. Wilder's fighting his mandatory, which means it's in an obligation. Okay.
No. Forget about the mandatory. Okay. So he
no. Let me speak. Wilder's fighting the mandatory because it is an obligation. Next, it is rumored. Next, it is rumored that he's going to fight Fury, unfinished business, or or Luis Ortiz, the guy that Dillian Whyte keeps ducking. So both those guys are better than Dillian White. And if you don't agree on that, then you are not a real boxing fan.
Listen, we don't know that Luis Ortiz is better than Dillian White. Luis Ortiz's resume is not even as good as Dillian White's resume. So let's not even talk about that.
I don't know.
Let's not even talk about that. We know one thing. He is the number one in the rankings on the WBC.
So when he becomes mandatory, start burning some fucking, shit in front of the WBC. Till now, he ain't shit.
Listen, you clearly cannot answer my. You can't answer my question because what you're saying doesn't even make sense.
Till now, he's nobody fighting more nobodies. Lucas Brown's a nobody. Robert Helenius is a nobody. Oscar Rivas is a nobody. Get your nobody ass resume the fuck out of here.
This nigga do not like Dillian White, man.
I mean, Lucas Brown is somebody. David fucking Allen. I used to be a fucking bouncer. Just knocked out Lucas Brown.
Lucas Brown was a bouncer, not David Allen.
Even worse. Even worse. The guy you give Dillian White the most credit for wasn't a legitimate fighter.
Whoa.
That's crazy. No, you give Dillian so much credit for that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Big ups to Ness, man. Big ups to Ness, bro. This name's right here, man. I love it. Hey, for future reference, if you want to call in, number is 1425-569-5241. If you want to call in on Skype, you got to add Nestor Gibbs. And until next time, peace out.
Yeah, do say.